when silence broke the house. In this raw and vulnerable account, a mother recounts the night her family life was upended. As her husband aggressively prepares to leave, tension rises with his repeated requests for a firearm, forcing her into swift, protective action. With the kids unaware and confused, she tries to mask the chaos with a spontaneous trip for milkshakes, all while carrying the weight of fear, guilt, and uncertainty. This true story unfolds in a blur of panic, secrecy, and heartbreak, culminating in a quiet moment of togetherness as she and her children sit in shock, trying to process the beginning of a new chapter. The beginning to process the quiet heartbreak of doing what's necessary for herself. Please follow her page for more entries and to support her. Thank you.
The next few days were a blur. I can't remember the exact day he moved out. Some of the kids were asleep and had no idea what was going on. He asked me for his gun, and without thinking, I told him where it was. I still don't understand why I did that. It felt like I had no control over my own words. My heart was racing, my body shaking, and panic took over. As he began slamming things around and packing, I gathered the kids and got them into the van. I turned off the location tracking on our devices. We drove to the storage unit where I retrieved the gun, and then I took the kids to Arby's for milkshakes. I tried to act like this was just a fun outing, but they kept asking questions. I couldn't bring myself to explain what was happening until my oldest texted me, asking why I had turned off his location. I told him that their dad was moving out and I didn't want him to come over and start an argument. The truth is, I was afraid he'd come looking for the gun. The thought of it made me paranoid. My son asked if things could be fixed and what his dad had done. I told him something very wrong had happened, and no, it couldn't be fixed. Later, I texted my husband to see if he had left. He kept bringing up the gun, asking where it was. I asked him why he needed it and whether he was planning to harm himself. He said no. I offered to call some of his friends for support, but he declined. Even after all that, I couldn't shake the fear. Once we got home, I called 911 and told them everything, including his repeated questions about the gun. They said that unless he had explicitly stated he wanted to hurt himself, there wasn't anything they could do. I went to bed that night terrified I would get a call saying he was gone. The kids were in shock. Even though I had prepared for this mentally, I was in shock too. We all sat together on the sectional and watched a movie. The kids cried on and off, and it broke my heart. I kept thinking it was my fault. I had to constantly remind myself that this was the result of his actions, and that this was the best choice for all of us. The next day, I texted him, just one simple question, to make sure he was okay.
In the following video, you will see the text messages exchanged between the mother and her soon-to-be ex-husband. Please take a moment to pause and read through it. The next few days were a blur for her, so much so that she didn't write in her diary. There were tears, early pickups from school, and waves of anxiety. But she had raised strong children, and this wasn't the hardest thing she'd ever faced. More on that later. Still, they continued to move forward, navigating this new chapter together. Her ex-husband hadn't given up. He still held on to hope, sending messages in an attempt to make things right. She remained kind in her responses, but stood firm. Calm, composed, and grounded, she wasn't wavering. Take a moment to read through the text messages between them. Feel free to pause the video if you need more time. In this deeply personal reflection, a woman recounts an emotionally charged visit from her soon-to-be ex-husband. What begins with unexpected giddiness quickly transforms into clarity as she recognizes the familiar patterns of manipulation. With raw honesty, she describes the emotional shift that allows her to finally disconnect and reclaim her strength. Though compassion lingers, the need to fix him no longer includes sacrificing herself. This moment marks a turning point, a quiet but powerful step toward freedom, self-expression, and healing.
He ended up coming over on Wednesday, April 30th. The moment I saw him, my heart melted. I felt giddy, almost like a schoolgirl, and had to retreat to the bathroom. I'm not even sure why I was so excited. I couldn't stop smiling. Once I managed to calm my emotions, I walked into the kitchen, and he said he wanted to talk. We ended up in the bedroom, and as soon as we got there, he leaned against the dresser and tilted his head slightly down, his usual posture when he's trying to talk his way out of something. And just like that, the excitement disappeared. I saw it all for what it was. My emotions shut down, and for the first time, I truly heard him and saw him for who he is. I gave a nervous laugh when he said he wanted me back. He told me he thought I was seeing things that weren't really there, blaming my past, my sensitivity, and my overthinking. Just days ago, he even said a demon must have gotten a hold of me. That's why, according to him, I kicked him out. But I didn't back down. I stayed grounded. There wasn't a single part of me that wanted to hug him, touch him, or be close to him. I didn't miss him. I just wanted him gone again. And now, looking back, I'm actually grateful he tried to manipulate me with that same old routine. It helped me completely disconnect. I still worry about him sometimes. I don't like the sadness I see in his eyes. It makes me want to help, maybe with a small gesture or a gift. But not with me. I no longer wonder what it would be like if he came back. Because now, I can almost touch my freedom. The freedom to be fully myself. To act how I want. Wear what I want. Do what I want. Go where I want. Be where I want to be.
In this introspective entry, a mother reflects on the whirlwind of emotions that follow the end of a relationship: grief, guilt, resilience, and moments of unexpected peace. As the days speed by, she holds space for her children's quiet questions and tender hearts while navigating her own emotional undercurrents. Caught between painful memories and hopeful daydreams, she begins to see just how deeply the past shaped her and how much strength she still holds. Though doubt lingers, she remains grounded in one truth: she's still here, showing up, and that matters. Please follow her page for more entries and to support her. Thank you.
The days feel like they are flying by. I may be a little depressed, but I'm still able to be there for myself and the kids. I do find myself zoning out thinking about what if I fail. But I also daydream about all the possibilities that are out there for my kids and me. They have become very protective over their dad's giant water jug. This is the second time I've used it, and they pointed it out both times. I can tell if they have fully accepted him leaving yet. They aren't crying anymore. They just ask questions about him here and there. Sometimes they worry about things like who is going to take them fishing now. But now that I think about it, it hasn't even been a week yet. They are still probably processing it. I feel bad about being annoyed by this, but when the kids tell me they love me, I say I love you too, but sometimes they say I love you more. I know they are just trying to express themselves, and I love that about them. They all have very caring souls. He used to say every single time I said I love you. And that's when things were at their worst. We would go back and forth with who loves who more. Now it's like an empty promise. The words lost their meaning. He used to also give the best cards. They were so meaning and deep, sometimes bringing me to tears. I think I held on to those. They were proof that he loved me. I know those things he did hurt me. I just never thought they affected who I was. Looking back at how I was in reading these entries, I feel pathetic. Like completely lost in trying to love someone who loved me but didn't at the same time. I don't know how to explain that. Maybe because he didn't sometimes or never did love me. But it's hard for me to accept that. I gave too much of myself to him. I don't know. I need to get off this train of thought because it's bringing up old emotions and it hurts even wondering about that. I'm done now and that's all that matters. I do need to remember to be sensitive around the kids and make sure I'm not acting like everything is perfect, like the biggest thing of their life so far didn't just happen. I've become too good at doing that. I am apologizing in advance. I will not be reading any of the comments because of how personal I am being right now. Although it's anonymous, I'm still opening up and am being very vulnerable. I hope my story inspires other women to recognize the various forms of abuse and its long-lasting impacts. I also wish for it to become a source of income for my children and me, as we are navigating a very tight budget where every dollar matters. Right now, I deliver groceries because it allows me to keep my youngest child with me. However, the number of hours I would need to support our family of 5 is unrealistic. I'm actively seeking an online job and exploring additional resources. I kindly ask you to check out my page for more entries leading up to this one. Please follow me, as I'm far from finished sharing my story and will have updates to come. Please engage with this post by commenting, liking and sharing it. Thank you for your support. I genuinely believe we will overcome this, and I trust that God and His angels are guiding us. Sending you all my love, and thank you once again. Truly. I generally post on the Flip platform first at Mystory3236. You can find me on YouTube at Mystory3236 and TikTok at Mystory3236. Thank you.